Your brain lies about what will make you happy. Imagine a man standing in his kitchen, holding a lottery ticket worth more money than his brain was designed to calmly process. He checks the numbers once, then twice, then the third time, because apparently the human mind believes printing has a long history of personal betrayal. And there it is. He has won. The thing people dream about in traffic. The thing they imagine while eating reheated leftovers over the sink. The golden escape hatch. The magical check that seems to whisper, "Congratulations, your problems have been canceled." Now imagine another person. Same planet, same species. Very different Tuesday. They wake up in a hospital bed after an accident, and the future they pictured yesterday has been quietly removed from the room. Two lives, two impossible changes. One looks like the beginning of happiness. The other looks like the end of it. And yet, psychology has found something deeply inconvenient. Your brain may be surprisingly bad at predicting how either one will feel later. Not completely wrong, not foolish, just confidently terrible in the way a weather app is terrible when it says, "light drizzle," and the sky opens like a plumbing accident. Which leaves one obvious question. If your brain cannot accurately predict what will make you happy, why do you keep letting it plan your entire life? To understand that, we need to look at one of the strangest little traps in the human mind. It is called affective forecasting. That sounds like something a committee would name after successfully removing all joy from a sentence. But the idea is simple. Affective forecasting is your brain trying to predict your future feelings. Will this job make me happy? Will this house finally make life feel settled? Will this failure ruin me? Will this new phone transform me into a calm, organized adult who drinks water and answers emails on time? Your brain is constantly making emotional weather reports about the future. The trouble is, it does not just predict the weather, it adds drama music. When you imagine something wonderful, your mind zooms in on the wonderful bit, the prize, the applause, the first day in the new car. The moment everyone realizes you were secretly brilliant all along. It does not spend much time imagining the second Tuesday, the one where the car has crumbs in it, the applause has stopped, and you still have to find matching socks in a house that appears to be slowly breeding laundry. The same thing happens with bad events. Your brain imagines the pain, the embarrassment, the loss, the disaster. It shines a mental spotlight on the worst part and forgets that the rest of life will keep barging in. You will still get hungry. Someone will still send you a bill. A child somewhere will still ask where socks go when they disappear, as though you personally operate the sock dimension. Life does not usually stay as one giant feeling. It returns, annoyingly, to being many small things at once. This is where the famous lottery study enters the story. In the 1970s, researchers compared people who had recently won large lottery prizes with people who had experienced serious accidents that caused paralysis. They also compared them with a control group. It was a bold study, and by modern standards, it was small, so we should not treat it like a final answer carved into stone tablets by the gods of psychology. But the finding was so startling that it became one of the classic starting points in happiness research. The lottery winners did see winning as a very good thing. Of course they did. If a large pile of money arrives and you do not recognize it as positive, you may not need a psychologist. You may need a gentle reboot. But when researchers asked about present happiness, the winners were not dramatically happier than the comparison group. Even stranger, they seemed to report less pleasure from ordinary daily activities. Simple things. Talking with a friend, hearing a joke, reading a magazine. The small biscuits of existence. Meanwhile, the accident victims were not as happy as the lottery winners, and the study did not pretend tragedy had magically vanished. That would be cruel nonsense. But they were also not as permanently devastated as many people might imagine from the outside. The human mind, it seems, is not a photograph. It is more like a thermostat. It reacts, it swings, it complains. Then, often, it starts adjusting the room. And that is the part we forget when we imagine the future. We picture the event, but not the adaptation. We imagine the lottery ticket, but not the ordinary breakfast 6 months later.
We imagine the disaster,
but not the brain quietly building handrails around it. Psychologists sometimes describe this as a kind of emotional immune system. Not an immune system with tiny white blood cells wearing hard hats and saying, "Right, lads, another breakup. Let's get to work." Although, frankly, that would be helpful. It means the mind has ways of absorbing, explaining, reframing, and surviving emotional shocks. After something bad happens, people often begin making sense of it. They talk, they compare, they reframe, they find routines, they notice small mercies. They become bored by their own pain for 5 minutes, then 10, then sometimes longer. This does not mean people simply get over everything. They do not. Some losses last. Some injuries change daily life. Some grief becomes part of the furniture of the mind. But research suggests we often underestimate our ability to adapt, especially when we are predicting from a distance. Your present self looks at future pain and says, "I could never handle that." Your future self, having no choice, starts finding a way. And the same mistake works in the other direction. Your present self looks at future success and says, "Once I get that, I will finally be happy." Then your future self gets it, enjoys it, photographs it, shows 3 people, receives 2 underwhelming replies and 1 thumbs up emoji, and then starts wondering what the next thing should be. This is called impact bias. We tend to overestimate how intense and how long-lasting our future emotions will be. Not always, not for everything, but often enough to make a mess of our decisions. It is why a person can spend years chasing a promotion and then, after getting it, discover that the new office also contains emails. It is why someone can buy the thing they were certain would transform their life and, 2 weeks later, treat it as furniture. It is why a teenager believes one embarrassing moment will haunt them until retirement, while everyone else forgets it by lunch because they are too busy worrying about their own embarrassing moments. Your brain is not only predicting happiness, it is predicting the wrong version of happiness. It imagines happiness as a permanent weather condition. Blue sky forever, no admin, no dental appointments, no one asking what is for dinner while standing directly in front of food. But real happiness is usually more ordinary than that. It is not the trophy. It is the shape of the day after the trophy. This is where the useful part begins. Because the lesson is not never want anything. Wanting things is normal. Ambition is useful. Money matters. Safety matters. Health matters. Love matters. A better life is a perfectly reasonable thing to pursue, and anyone who says money cannot improve life has probably never received a surprise electricity bill shaped like a legal threat. The lesson is more precise. Before you chase something, do not ask only, "Will this feel amazing when it happens?" That question is a trap. Ask the ordinary Tuesday test. After I get this thing, what will an ordinary Tuesday look like? Not the celebration day, not the announcement, not the moment where imaginary people clap in slow motion. An ordinary Tuesday. Will I sleep better? Will my stress reduce? Will I have more time with people I love? Will I feel healthier? Will I have fewer daily frictions? Will my life become kinder in the boring places? Because the boring places are where most of your life happens. Your brain loves the highlight reel. Your well-being lives in the unedited footage. The ordinary Tuesday test works because it forces your mind to include the rest of life. If you want a bigger house, imagine cleaning it. If you want a promotion, imagine the meetings. If you want fame, imagine strangers having opinions about your haircut. If you want a new car, imagine sitting in it while still being the same person, in the same traffic, behind someone who appears to be steering with a sandwich. This does not kill the dream, it disinfects it. Some dreams survive this test beautifully. A job with better hours, a calmer home, enough money to stop living in low-level panic, a healthier body, a stronger relationship, a creative project that gives meaning to your day. These are not just shiny moments. They change the texture of ordinary life. Other dreams start looking suspicious. They are not happiness. They are fireworks. Very pretty, very loud. Then smoke. And your brain, bless it, is easily impressed by fireworks. This also helps with fear. When something bad is ahead, ask the same question in reverse. What will an ordinary Tuesday look like after this? Not the worst hour, not the first shock, not the dramatic scene your brain is directing without a permit. A normal Tuesday, later. What routines will still exist? Who will still be there? What small choices will still be available? What help could I build now? This does not make fear vanish, but it gives the brain a wider lens. And a wider lens is often where wisdom begins. The twist is that your brain is not lying because it hates you. It is lying because it simplifies. It takes one huge event and pretends that event will become your whole life. But life rarely becomes one thing. Even after joy, there is laundry. Even after pain, there is tea. Even after success, there is traffic. Even after failure, someone still needs to buy bananas. This is not depressing. It is strangely freeing. It means the next achievement may not save you, but the next disaster may not define you either. You are more adaptable than your anxious brain predicts, and less easily completed than your ambitious brain promises. So the next time your mind says, "This one thing will finally make everything perfect," thank it politely for its weather report. Then ask for the Tuesday forecast. Because the future is not made of one shining moment. It is made of mornings, messages, meals, small annoyances, small comforts, and the quiet emotional machinery that keeps adjusting the room while you are busy making plans. Your brain may be a terrible travel agent for happiness, but with the right question, you can stop booking holidays to places that only look good in the brochure. If you enjoyed this strange little journey, subscribe and help us reach 1 million curious minds. There are many more weird facts hiding in plain sight, and we intend to bother all of them. The only question left is, which one we bother next?